tuning into another segment of the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. On this segment, we'll be discussing what our expectations are for Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson heading into his rookie season. I'll let Daniel start this one off. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
So let me just tell the people your expectations should not be high. We've seen many young quarterbacks come in, especially quarterbacks that didn't, look elite at the college level. And people have these high expectations like, oh, this dude is going to lead them to the playoffs. This dude is going to make this team a Super Bowl team right away. Relax with Anthony Richardson. I think, one, you got to look at the talent around him. There's not much right now. I mean, you got Michael Pittman Jr. That's good. You got a good offensive line, but Jonathan Taylor, we don't know what the issue is with him, right? We don't know if he's even going to play with the Colts this year. So, and we don't even know if Richardson is going to start this year because they're saying, Gardner Minshew's the week 1 starter. That could just be coach speak. But what can you expect from Richardson? I think you can expect him to run the hell out of the ball. You can expect him to have the highlight plays. You can expect him to, be the athletic freak and make otherworldly plays. But the down-to-down consistency, that's not what you should expect. You should expect him to miss open throws. You should expect him to miss, open guys and not be able to pinpoint receivers deep down the field right away on a consistent level. So Anthony Richardson is going to be a work in progress, but you're going to see a lot of the flash with Anthony Richardson. I think that's what the Colts are expecting this year. So if anybody's expecting him to be a superstar passer, that's not what you're going to get. He's going to be a work in progress passer, but I think you're going to see a completely different offense than what the Colts have ran in the past. And I think you're going to see a huge glimpse into the future to what the Colts offense potentially could be. Get Anthony Richardson on the move, get their guys on the move, and I think they could see some success.
Yeah, I agree that he might not come out and take the league by storm, but I still think that he is going to be very capable. Um, I think he is going to surprise people. I expect him to have a pretty good transition. We know that the new head coach, formerly the offensive coordinator, did great work with Jalen and bringing out his strengths and helping him achieve the most that he could. So that's important in his rookie development and a good landing spot. I think you have decent weapons in Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Isaiah McKenzie. I think you've got at least a solid bevy of weapons there that doesn't leave him devoid. But I think his rushing upside, like you said, is going to be good. I think he ends up with about 500-600 rushing yards, maybe 3,000 passing yards, not crazy, but is that enough to do it in the division this year that has the Titans absolutely toiling, that has the Texans still trying to figure out their orientation? We know the Jaguars are going to be taking their place as probably a playoff team, but at the same time, the wild card spots are open. I think Indy could mess around and slide in there. We talked Bruce Arians, great quarterback whisperer, has talked about how it takes 8-9 weeks before a rookie really kind of develops and you can evaluate them and they kind of start to get their footing. But the extended season, I think that probably hits them right at a good time, especially with a weaker division. So I think they could go on a late season run that works out well for them. And lastly, Jonathan Taylor going to be playing for the Colts. There is no leverage to be had. You will miss out on all your game checks. And if you don't play, then you lose a year accrued as a NFL player. You don't get the year for playing because you didn't play. So then he can't hit free agency like he wants to. So you've got an already short lifespan as a rookie, as a running back. You can't lose a whole year because you sat out and didn't want to do anything.
Right.
So he's in a really tough spot, unfortunate spot. We've talked about the running back leverage or lack thereof. And this is an example of he can hold out and make his frustrations known, but by week 1, he will be playing for the team. So with that in mind, with Anthony Richardson and how mobile quarterbacks unlock production from running backs and help them and aid them with that, I think that's going to be good. We know that they've been a pretty solid defense despite having a little bit of talent deficiencies at some spots, but I think they've made good additions. And I think the offensive line with DeForest Buckner and Samson Ebukam and Kwity Paye hopefully taking another step forward. I think that's going to be enough to get it done in the very weak AFC South.
So before, not to cut you off, Malik, if you're going to go, the only issue that I have with the Anthony Richardson, like I like the comparison, obviously Shane, what he did with Jalen Hurts. I agree. My only issue is Jalen was a much more, and I can even look at, like Justin Fields. Hurts was a much more refined passer in college at Oklahoma, at Alabama. He had the 3 years. Justin Fields, had multiple years. That's my only concern with Richardson. He had 1 year. That's my only concern.
Absolutely. Lack of production for an extended period of time is an issue. Small sample that we're talking about here, but let me lay something on you. He was still just 20 years old at the time of the draft and showed improvement throughout the season. In his first 6 weeks, he had 5 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 9 turnover-worthy plays. However, in the next 6 weeks, he threw 6 pass touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and cut it from 9 to 3 turnover-worthy plays. So in a very small amount of time, we saw him quickly shake off that rust, develop, and as the schedule even got tougher, he performed even better. So I think with a quarterback coach who is going to help kind of accentuate his strengths a little bit and design a new offense that will help to do that, especially coming from what they just did, in Philadelphia. I think that, again, I'm not projecting that they're going to, sneak into the playoffs and do something like really impressive. I think they probably end up losing that first round in the wild card, but I do think that this team could surprise people just because I don't think the Texans and the Titans are going to be anywhere close. And I think the rest of the AFC is just going to be a bloodbath with the AFC West and the AFC North and the AFC East all cannibalizing each other with all the strength in there.
Oh yeah. And one thing I'll say is we posed the question, what are the expectations for Anthony Richardson? I do think there's a real chance that he wins NFL Rookie of the Year. Or
Absolutely.
Rookie of the Year. I really think that's a real shot. And it's because I think the other quarterbacks, we can all admit it's a quarterback-driven league. It's a quarterback-driven award almost. I think that he'll be able – I think he is the coach that is willing to put the ball in his hands and allow him to go through those growing pains via playing, right?
Yeah.
When it comes with the Panthers right now, Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback, I guess.
Sure.
And I could see that being the case for a start, especially with Frank Reich's history of wanting to start veteran quarterbacks and trusting veteran quarterbacks. I think that CJ Stroud is going to start a little slow out the gate, especially having a defensive-minded coach. Might be a little more conservative, at least, with some things. But I think Anthony Richardson is going to be dealt with the least with kid gloves, if you will. And I think that with his dynamic ability to run the ball, his big arm that he has, I can see some highlight reel plays, some splash plays, and him really making a difference in terms of the marketability in the NFL.
So I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say I'm right on there with you. If he's labeled a week 1 starter, he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. They say he's already taken the first team reps. Like he's already.
So could you look at, once again, it's this more of not a social media award, but Richardson, when you compare him to the other,
matter.
When you compare him to other quarterbacks, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, what's the potential for them? Bryce Young, beautiful deep ball. Okay. Anthony Richardson, he can make something.
He will be the engine that the offense runs on. Absolutely.
So if he's week 1 and they don't even have to make the playoffs, they can win 6, 7, 8 games and he can still win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So
100%.
Well, if you guys can do us a huge favor, let us know what you guys think in the comment section. What are your expectations for Anthony Richardson for his rookie season? If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live from the First Star Logistics studio.
Show us out.